State Office Building.
And Senators Edmondson and Kerr were both veterans, by the way. Here today. But first, OSU had to agree to accept a Frank 270 facility that wasn't sprinkled. Yep, the bats are gone now. And the OSU regents did agree to this scheme, the plan, and they saw the vision for this land becoming the cornerstone of a first true academic medical district for OSU in downtown Tulsa.
Why I stay in trouble all the time, Jay. But we didn't, and I'd like to. He didn't want me to do this, but we're going to. That is how you stay in trouble. You tell your boss tells you not to do something, you do it anyway. But one thing to recognize is the OSU Medical Center across the way and Jim's leadership in that years ago around the OSU Medical Authority. And we have a few people in the room that we'll get to in just a few minutes that. I'd also like to, we mentioned the regents and the scheme, but I'd also like to recognize the regents and their staff that are in the room with us today and those that are not. But it's not without them, and I think probably told them that they had 1 or 2 votes, and I think we probably had 3 on every, Eric, probably 3 on every committee meeting that we've had going forward. But their commitment to this and sticking with it, Joe Hall, Jimmy Harrell, Carrie Bates, Callahan, Blaine Arthur, Tracy from the regents that are here with us. Also, former Regent Calvin Anthony was going to be here, but I haven't seen him yet, and I called him out because he was kind of that Tulsa region, if you will, when at the medical at the very beginning, and he jumped on board. Down here in the front, and you're going to get another shout out in just a few minutes. So we'll probably is going to be Courtney. It won't be a roast, I don't think. But also in the room is Jason Ramsey, the CEO of the Board of Regents, Carly Bell, Steve Thompson. There he is right there. We also are lucky to have Chancellor Burridge here with us as well. Sean Burridge. I know I saw Jack Sherry. As well as Mike Adwan with the state regents here with us today as well. If you guys would wave, go. But thank you guys for being here. Thanks for your leadership and supporting this vision.
The OSU regents agreed to the vision, and the governor's office supported it. Thank you. But the state legislature had to agree to actually gift the land. And I want to recognize some of the important legislators here today that understood what this project could mean to Oklahoma with more medical residents, more jobs, better health care in northeastern Oklahoma, and helping veterans all at the same time. These gentlemen helped author and pass House Bill 4139 to transfer the land. Former Representative Kevin Wallace is here with us, State Senator Dave Rader, former State Senator Roger Thompson, State Representative, now Speaker, Kyle Hilbert. We also acknowledge that and thank that it was Jamie Longacre who wrangled us all and whipped us into order, and Mike Neal's team at the Chamber. I saw some of the Chamber staff here today, hosted countless meetings to get through that process and advance that early work.
Also Senator John Haste is here, and I pointed at him a few minutes ago. He started out on this journey on the medical authority and leadership around that. And we really want to thank all of our elected officials present today. I saw the county commissioners here as well. If you're an elected official, please stand up and wave. We'd love to recognize you today. So we've asked Kyle Hilbert, the youngest House Speaker in Oklahoma history, and also an OSU alum that we're proud to say, go Pokes, to say a few words. Speaker Hilbert.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Courtney. What an exciting day. And you know it's a really big deal if you can get OSU guys like myself to wear red, but you can on Veterans Day here. And also, what an exciting time for us as Americans as well, because here we are getting to celebrate this transfer and the veterans in Oklahoma at a time where 250 years ago, the first American veterans were fighting for America and our freedom and the nation that we all love today. It is an incredible celebration. And then next year, going into the semi-quincentennial, if you don't know that word, you should. It's going to be the word of the year next year, semi-quincentennial, the 250th birthday for the United States of America next year. And if you don't know what day that's on the 4th of July, if you were wondering, of next year. And we get to celebrate that. What a great time for us as Americans. And I really think in today's day and age, it is a time where we should remember what it means to be Americans. I saw, and I know I'm going to forget some folks, but some folks who served in the state house or senate at the time when this vote was taken in 2020. I see former Representative Carol Bush, former Representative Lonnie Sims, of course, in their respective roles here in the Tulsa area as well. Senator Goodwin, I saw her in here as well. And I know I'm going to miss some folks. And current representatives, Chris Banning, Amanda Clinton, I don't believe they were here in 2020, but have supported this project in the time since then. In May of 2020, with passing of House Bill 4139, the Oklahoma legislature formalized its commitment to transfer the Kerr Edmondson buildings and property to the OSU A&M Regents for the Oklahoma Veterans Inpatient Facility in Tulsa. I actually wasn't 100% sure what the acronym stood for. We just said VHiT all the time, Courtney. But for the VHiT project, and it really was a public-private partnership. I appreciate how Courtney used the term braided funds. What we really appreciated at the state capitol was the fact that this was a project where you had such great local support and local buy-in. It wasn't a project where the state was coming in and doing the whole thing. It wasn't a project where the feds were doing the whole thing. It wasn't a project where the locals were doing the whole thing. But truly was a combined effort. And I remember many Zoom calls, because it was 2020. There were some other things going on at the time where Coach Rader, myself, Chairman Wallace, Chairman Thompson spent many hours on those calls with these two, as well as many others, trying to work through the details. And for us as a legislature, it never was a question of if we supported making this project come to life. Absolutely, we wanted to make it happen. But this isn't normal. This doesn't normally happen, where you have state assets transferred to the federal government and have locals having this kind of support. Oklahoma is a special place, and we had to work out all of those details. I also remember many meetings as well that we got to have in the governor's blue room, because the Capitol was under construction at the time. And so all of our normal conference rooms were empty, so we had this massive meeting space for just a handful of us to be able to come in and get through all of the challenges of making this happen. And then it was also the challenges on state employees. The state still had to relocate state employees' office in the buildings. As you may well know, well into 2024, people were still driving into the construction site looking for the parole office. And today, the facility is not yet operational, but the community has done its expected work and has it near enough complete that the Veterans Affairs wants to start activating now with their equipment, security, furnishings, and onboarding their staff, and hopefully see this open next year with the first patients. This is a huge thing for Northeast Oklahoma, for Tulsa, but really for all of Oklahoma, and frankly for the United States of America, and could not be more grateful for our federal delegation. I know you're going to get to hear from them later, and they can speak to that a lot better than I can, but the work that they did to help make this happen for the folks in Oklahoma. And just want to say thank you to all of our veterans in the room for the sacrifice that you make, and we don't tell you thank you enough, and what an exciting day it is to be here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker Hilbert. There was one thing that we're not worried about, and that was Tulsa demonstrating the community support it would take to qualify and be approved for the Federal Chip-In Act. That was an interesting form that we sent in. It was 10 pages and $130 million. Somehow they said yes. Here to talk about the generous donors and the city-county partnership that showed up for Veterans Health care in Tulsa, we have the president of the Ann and Henry Zarrow Foundation, Bill Major.
Good morning. This project was a wild vision for an unusual collaboration. OSU Medicine and the Ann and Henry Zero Foundation began this brainstorm, as you heard, in 2018. We all knew that we needed three things to secure a slot in the chip-in program: the state land, the support of Senators Inhofe and Langford, and we needed a strong demonstration of community support. Oklahoma's United States congressional delegation championed the approval and funding of this Veterans Hospital unequivocally, with Senators James Inhofe and Senator James Langford leading the campaign. The additional community contribution to support this facility, which totaled more than $70 million, was also a compelling factor in advancing the VA approval of this hospital, only the second chip-in project in the nation to be awarded by the VA. This support reflects the deep honor Oklahomans place on service and care for veterans. The Ann and Henry Zero Foundation agreed to serve as a nonprofit developer for the hospital in partnership with OSU. In total, the foundation's trustees have invested $18 million toward construction and another $2.5 million in development costs. I want to recognize Julie Burridge, trustee, who is here today, and of course our board chair, Judy Zero-Kishner. Judy, it's really only because you were so fearless about this project from the beginning that we're all here today. Would you two stand? But we were far from alone. One of the first donors was longtime champions of veterans' causes, the quietly devoted Sarah and John Graves. And they are invested in other veterans projects today, so I don't believe they're in the tent. When we approached Hans and John Helmrich about supporting the hospital, the Helmrich Trust surprised all of us by investing more than initially requested. Jonna, will you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. One December, a few years back, the late Ruth Nelson called me and asked if I knew of an important nonprofit project underway. Ruth had already given generously to the psychiatric hospital, but I said without hesitation, the Veterans Hospital will be a catalyst for building a real academic medical district in Tulsa. The Ruth Nelson Trust dispensed a $1 million check the next day. You don't get more community responsive than that. With us today is Gina Stilp, the new executive director of Ruth's Legacy, the Ruth Nelson Family Foundation. Gina. Our last private donor is also one of our most generous, the Sanford and Irene Bernstein Foundation, who were so enthusiastic about the intersection of healthcare improvements and this worthy veteran cause. Susan Savage and Elizabeth Hall are with us today. Please stand so we can thank the Bernstein Foundation. I've mentioned private donors, but really what makes this an unusual project is the support of the state with a generous gift of property. We have already heard from Speaker Hilbert and we will hear from the governor. But we are also thankful for the engagement of the commissioners of the Land Trust. John Fisher is here, and even ODOT has gotten involved to help support pedestrian access to this site. So we also thank those two state government entities. I also want to recognize the city of Tulsa. We've had the support of two mayors, both of whom are here today. But then it was Deputy Mayor Amy Brown, as well as City Council Sarah Davis, then Chair Phil Lakin, and of course the counselor for this district, who really helped organize things for the city's $12 million in support of the parking and site work. Thank you again, City Council. And of course, the Tulsa County also got involved and contributed with $4 million in support for the critical parking and site work as well. Commissioner Salih has been with this project since near the beginning. We want to thank you and also thank Commissioner Dunkerley and Sims here as well. Thank you. The VA hospital is the founding component of this entirely new medical district, and an important component for our veterans as well is the Oklahoma Psychiatric Care Center, which you see underway to our north on the other side of the hospital. I want to thank a number of donors to that project that are here with us today, because of the expected synergy between these two hospitals is part of what has spurred the dynamic growth at OSU. The Charles and Lynn Schusterman Family Philanthropies was an early supporter, and I want to recognize Michael DuPont, who has joined us today. Michael. We also want to recognize the Maxine and Jack Zero Family Foundation, and Eric Chillingworth is here today representing the late Will Smith of the Will Smith Charitable Trust and his support for the psychiatric hospital. Michael Junk and Lauren Sherry are here representing Quick Trip, one of the latest donors to the new Psychiatric Care Center. Michael and Lauren. Thank you all for your support to improve mental health and our partnership with OSU. That will be another fantastic asset that serves our veterans as well. Using public-private partnerships to accomplish great things in our community is not new. But today we really have to celebrate the strong commitment of the federal government, state, county, city governments, along with a public university and private philanthropy to truly change the trajectory of Tulsa and downtown for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Kyle, I forgot your gift. I'm so excited. I forgot I got gifts for speaker. I'm just trying to get rid of this building so fast.
I asked Courtney, what are all those boxes for? And she said,
Oh, and now we have something else we're gonna do.
yeah, we're gonna invite Dennis Blankenship up, Dean of the OSU College of Medicine. He's gonna make a special presentation, and Dennis is gonna make a presentation to the project's largest donor, who, again, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but so be it. But more importantly, our biggest champion, who always says, yes, we will help. Judy Kishner, come on up, and I'll take my lumps. Dennis, if you would, please.
On behalf of Oklahoma State University Center for Health Sciences, the medical students, physicians, and researchers who will benefit from the new campus expansion that you generously launched, as well as the patients, the veterans and their families, and others working and receiving mental health and medical services every day in this new medical district, we award you with this engraved stethoscope and a symbolic white coat with the title Doctor of Philanthropy.
Thank you, Dennis. If you want to know why donors like Judy had faith that this project could really happen, that the federal government would come through with 130, in the end 150 million in funding, why the state, the county, the city, and others knew we could get here, there's one answer, and that is Senator Jim Inhofe. When we walked into those early meetings and said, Jim Inhofe is behind this project and was helping us, it was just a given that it would happen. Today, Senator Inhofe's 3 children are here with us, and before I acknowledge them, I want to say that it's also the late Perry Inhofe's, his 4th child's birthday today, Veterans Day. So it's Perry Inhofe's birthday, and it's super special to Molly Rapert, if you'll stand, Katie Swan, and Jimmy Inhofe. We are so pleased you're here, and I think you've got some grandchildren here too. And I want to say in 2018 we interviewed a lobbyist to help with our federal application, and we didn't realize that we'd sort of fallen into Inhofe land. Stuart McCalman said, it doesn't really matter what I think, it's a good project.
We have a host of former Inhofe staff here today to honor this occasion. If you're a member of the Inhofe Mafia, would you please stand or step forward and be recognized? Please stand up. We now like to ask U.S. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, who was in 2022 elected to complete Senator Inhofe's term, to say a few words. And not only that, he was also the congressman. Did I get out of order?
No, well, did we?
All right, we're going to roll with it. Are you ready, Senator? All right, we're going to roll with it. That's Courtney's fault. But
Yeah.
and I just want to say now we're winging it, which is going to get us all in trouble, Senator. But congressman in the district, when we went to talk about, hey, we want to bring a VA to Tulsa, that could have meant a lot for Muskogee, but he championed this, he was behind it, and we can't thank you enough, and veterans can't thank you enough. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen.
I was supposed to introduce the kids too, so I have no idea what I'm supposed to talk about now. Well, thank you so much. This is, when you have private, public, state, federal partnership, things are supposed to mess up a little bit, kind of like this program right now. But it also shows that we're all willing to move forward. And there's a couple things I was supposed to talk about. One, they wanted me to introduce the kids. That's done. Two, they wanted me to talk about James Mountain Inhofe and what he meant to me. I lost my grandparents at a fairly young age, and my pawpaw, who on his DD 214 papers it literally says Kenneth Cowboy Morris. I think probably the only time Joe Gurdon, you know what I'm talking about, and he always wore his cowboy hat cockeyed like this. He also said if you ever cried around him, you had to get in the house. No offense here, but with the girls. He was very strong, very straight, and he meant the world to me. And when I lost him, there was a little bit of a void there. That's when Senator Inhofe came into my life, and the first time he came up to me, we were down in Broken Bowl, and he said, "I know you're going to win if you came all the way down to southeast Oklahoma just to shake hands and have a catfish fry with me." And we started visiting at that point. He started mentoring me, started talking to me, started telling me what I needed to do, where I needed to go. He came all in into the election. But as it went forward, there was a time I was talking, and I looked at him and I said, "I think of you more as a grandfather to me than I actually do as my seating senator." And he got offended. He really got mad by it. And he says, "I'm not old enough to be your grandfather." And I said, "Sir, I'm 35. He just stopped. He looked at me. "Still not your grandfather." I thought he was going to say something nice to me, but. So as we went forward, he really mentored me going through, and there was a time when I was, when I showed up to a plane, and I was letting my beard grow out. It was the first time I'd been letting it grow out for in the public. I'd always kept it shaved, except when I was doing other things. And I had an agreement to do something in 2016 that I was going to have to grow my beard out, and I met Senator Inhofe in Chicago, and I had a ball cap on, and I had my beard, and he got all concerned, and he pulled me off to the side. I mean, we were about ready to walk down the jetway, and he pulled me off to the side rather than boarding the plane, and he says, "Hey, let's talk." I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Everything okay?" I said, "Yes, sir, everything's good." And he goes, "No," he said, "I really didn't know. Are you and Christy okay?" He was really concerned about my wife. And I said, "Sir, why?" He goes, "Well, every time I see a guy grow a beard and wearing a ball cap, they're going through a divorce." I said, "Sir, we're good. I promise you we're good." But when he came to me about the James Mountain Inhofe Medical Center, which it wasn't the name of it at that time, he said, "Marquand, I know this is going to be a tough situation for you because it's going to affect Muskogee a little bit." But he assured me that Muskogee VA wasn't going to be closed. It was simply going to have a different mission statement. And he says, I know you're going to have a lot of questions about it. And I looked at him and I said, "Senator, if you think this is the right move for our veterans, there's no bigger champion in the Senate than Senator Inhofe. I said, if you think this is the right move, just help me explain it. Let me know what we're doing, and I'll be all in with you." And after that, we had meetings on a regular basis between our team, their team, between Senator and myself. And then he started telling me about everybody that was getting on board. He was keeping me informed about the partnerships that was taking place. And if you know anything about Senator Inhofe, his middle name really speaks to who he is. When he gets rolling downhill, you're not stopping him. And it doesn't make any difference if the President of the United States is in his way. He will let his opinion be known. And if I got in his way, he would most definitely tell me that I was in his way. One thing that Jim always did is he always knew where he stood. He was honest, he was straightforward, he was passionate, and he served every single day of his life to this great country. But someone that served beside him is his family. While I already know they've been recognized, I would like Jimmy, Molly, and Kate to stand up. You guys gave a lot of your father to us. You gave not only the prime of his life, but you gave the later part of his life too. And we're here to recognize him for the sacrifice that he made, but since you guys are the ones standing, I want you to know this is as much to recognize you too as well. So thank you so much for giving so much of your father to all of us, and for the legacy that's going to stand for decades to come. May God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. I think you made lemonade out of that. And so let's put the wheels back on the truck here. Afterwards, we're going to, after this ceremony, we're going to move into the building, and the Inhofe kids are going to unveil the naming plaques for the building. So follow us in if you have time to do that. And if you think this means a lot to veterans, you ought to hear the mayor talk about what it means to the city. And so now, let's hear from our mayor, Mayor Monroe Nichols.
Courtney told me to put us back on track, and I'm probably not the best person to do that. Good morning, everybody. You know, I have 2 degrees, one from the University of Tulsa and one from the University of Oklahoma. And so it doesn't surprise me that Speaker Hilbert forgot I was in the legislature in 2020 and that the president of OSU Tulsa forgot that I was the mayor and I'm sitting in the front row. But it is an honor to be here with our leaders from across the state. Senator Lankford, Senator Mullen, Congressman Hearn, Governor Stitt, Second Chief Dale Beaver, members of the legislature, my partners on the city council, wishing one city councilor, especially Councilor Christian Bingle, a happy Veterans Day today. And I also think it's important to recognize my predecessor, who was instrumental in helping make these things work. I had a mayor tell me one time, the great thing about being mayor is you get to cut a lot of ribbons and shove a lot of dirt that the other person worked so hard for. And so Mayor Bynum, for every ribbon I've cut, for every piece of dirt and other things that I've shoveled, thank you, sir. Here we mark the price of freedom. Those are the words you'll find on the Freedom Wall at the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. It's a reminder of the sacrifice of those who have served to keep us safe and free. And so today on Veterans Day, in addition to all the folks who have been recognized, I want to also recognize once again every veteran that is here today. I also want to thank their families for their sacrifice. This facility exists for you because our freedom is because of you. Today is more than just a celebration of construction milestones. It's a celebration of collaboration at its very best. Federal, state, local, and county governments, private philanthropy, OSU, and the academic medical community, all rowing in the same direction, to serve those who have served us. And I think that's something to be proud of. You know, I think of this project's extraordinary scope, and we've heard so much about it before, something that seemed like an impossibility in some ways. But I love it because in a lot of ways it's typical of who we are. Around here, we try not to let politics get in the way. We decide we're going to roll up our sleeves, focus on people, and get things done. It is for that reason, and in the spirit of those who served, that Tulsa, home to almost 40,000 veterans, is proud to be the home of this new VA hospital right here in the heart of downtown. This facility will mean shorter wait times, expanded access to specialists, better coordination with OSU's medical staff, and the students, and so many of whom are going to go on to take care of veterans for a long time in their careers. This is about accessibility, connection, dignity for the veterans and their families. What you see here today is a result of vision, of persistence, and of partnership. And while we have nothing but VIPs here today, I want to recognize somebody very special without whom this wouldn't be possible. That person is Courtney Knobloch. Now, Courtney, in this certificate of recognition, there's a lot of whereases and a lot of words. I'm not going to read them all because Senator Mullen told me I didn't have a lot of time. You know, he grabbed my arm and he said, "You're a little soft now, Mayor." And I said, "Man, he must have saw me at that city council meeting last Wednesday." But Courtney, for all you've done, your leadership, you have certainly gone above and beyond to make this possible. There are so many people who are part of it, but outside of Jim Inhofe himself, I'm not sure there's anybody who spent more time, who showed more persistence, who's more responsible for this happening today. And it's not just, as I said before, about this construction milestone. It's about the lives changed. It's about the families. It's about the folks who serve this country, who now get first-class service that they need right here in Tulsa. And so for all those things, I, Monroe Nichols, Mayor of the City of Tulsa, do give my deepest thanks and hereby present the certificate of recognition to Courtney Knobloch. On behalf of the city, all of us who have served, played a part in this project, we are grateful to have played the role that we played in making this facility a reality. And once again, to our veterans, thank you for your service, thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for your example. We recognize your care is critically important, and Tulsa and Tulsans are happy to play a vital role in that care moving forward. Thank you all.
veterans are why we have transformed this new facility. And here to say a few words about our veterans is U.S. Representative Kevin Hearn, who has long partnered with the Veterans History Project to archive the stories of veterans from our district into the Library of Congress. He even puts out a quarterly newsletter called The Veteran.
Yeah, and involved in community organizations. Congressman Hearn's involved in things like Partners for Heroes and Mission 22, which assists veterans with PTSD, TBI, and suicide prevention. And most importantly today, Congressman Hearn led the House passage of the bill to name the Tulsa VA Hospital in honor of James Inhofe, but the James Mountain Inhofe VA facility. Please welcome Congressman Hearn to the stage.
Well, this has certainly been a long time coming. I want to serve this district in the House of Representatives. By this idea, it was truly a concept in the making, and we learned about VHiT. We learned about what this would be to the community, to the state, and to our nation. You know, as we move forward here, I just want to say thanks to the federal delegation, everybody working together, to the state delegation, to the local delegation, the county and the city, everybody working together, especially Oklahoma State University, the Zarro Foundation, as we've heard so much about Courtney Knobloch. And she is tenacious. I've seen her in hard hats, walking up and down, concrete pouring everywhere, hot, cold, windy days, rainy days. It's unbelievable what she's done to make sure this was a true success. Also want to say and recognize the great work of Senator Inhofe. There's nobody in the history of this state, or ever will be, that's done more for the military men and women, both veterans and currently serving, than Senator Inhofe did for this great state. 7 years ago today, I got sworn in to be the congressman for this first district in the United States House of Representatives. Shortly thereafter, I got to meet the power of Senator Inhofe. We got a message in my office that he'd like for us to come over to the Senate. And he was speaking in the Senate conference room, which is about twice the size of this. And when I walked in, he was talking. And there were the Joint Chiefs in the room, a bunch of four-star generals, some admirals, staff members. And I listened to him, and he was talking about his passion for the military and how important it was for the freedom of this nation. And he said something then that I've used countless times, as recently as this week. And he was talking, and he got to the end, and I think people were looking around the room going, I'm not sure what he's talking about. And when he could get that cue in a room, he would say, I'm not sure what the question was, but that was the answer. And so, and he did that quite often. And so I picked that up, and it works quite well for people that like to get up here and talk a lot. So I try not to do that, but it is an important moment. You know, ultimately today is not about a building. It's not even about the staff or the doctors who will fill these busy halls or exam rooms. Oklahoma is home to approximately 300,000 veterans, and more than 145,000 Oklahoma veterans have been enrolled in VA healthcare. Today is about them. It's about you that are the veterans. This new VA hospital couldn't come at a better time, as we have an aging veteran population here in Oklahoma. More than 4 in 10 Oklahoman veterans are 65 or older. Our state and our community cherish those who serve. The state of Oklahoma has long provided specific benefits to veterans in addition to their federal benefits, like certain tax benefits, tuition waivers, and property tax exemptions for specific classes of veterans. And countless nonprofits and community organizations provide support services directly to veterans' needs. But what makes this day special to me is recognizing the people that make this place special. Those who know me personally know my deep appreciation for the veteran community. Part of that passion stems from having a father who served for the Air Force for 22 years and deployed to Vietnam 3 times. And at retirement, he retired in San Antonio, and he never moved from that place until 3 weeks before his death, and he moved here to a Veterans Center in Claremore. And he passed away at St. Francis Hospital on March 16th, 2020. But all the times that we would try to get him to move to Oklahoma, he wouldn't do it because his buddies were there. And he woke up one day and he realized when he called me to come move him to Oklahoma that all the friends that he'd served with were gone. All he had was the base that he had retired from, and he went to that service center. And I would ask him time and time again, how was your VA center in Texas? And he said, son, I don't know, I never go because I go on the base. And it was the certainty that he had at the base. But today, that certainty doesn't exist for many veterans across America. It's important to have a VA hospital like we have today. One that serves our veteran community, to recognize the sacrifices that they've made. And like my dad, or like many veterans, my dad could have moved anywhere, but he didn't. He stayed close by. And so today, we hope that this place, this community will help veterans want to stay here, stay in our city, stay in our state. I hope our heroes feel appreciated. You're treated with dignity and professionalism, and this hospital will make a model for how a community can partner together to serve those who served our nation in a time of need. To our veterans in the audience and beyond, a simple thank you. You didn't do it for a thank you, you did it for the freedom that we all enjoy. Thank you for stepping up to protect those very freedoms. May we all live in a way that honors your service and your sacrifice. God bless you all. Thanks for all being here today.
We're on track. Was that a person back there that fell out or a table? I hope it was a table. All right, we had a fantastic group of local community advisory board members, and we want to recognize the chair of that advisory board.
Do you think he knew he was the chair?
I don't know if he knew he was the chair or not, but he was a person who understood from the earliest days what this hospital meant to Tulsa and to OSU and to our economy. The incomparable Mr. Jay Helm. Jay, please stand and be recognized. And it was pretty much the Jay Road show with this project. How many presentations did we do to that chamber? I don't even know.
Absolutely a bunch.
And also here today are advisory board members, Phil Lakin. I think Josh West was coming. Our former mayor, G.T. Bynum. And his deputy at the time, Amy Brown. We couldn't have done without Amy. Thank you all for being here. And I just want to ask the city council to stand up one more time. You know, that $12 million, that was a lot of money. So would you all stand and be recognized?
Our VHiT management team is the reason that this project has been so effective. VHiT LLC is a subsidiary of the Ann and Henry Zero Foundation, but VHiT LLC is really a tight-knit group of people who did the work every single day, even through COVID, to make this, and inflation and everything else that made this work.
Utility panics and 3 contract negotiations with the VA and audit requirements, and at one point we had 7 different law firms we were working with, so we did it. I'd like to recognize what we call the VHiT core team. First and foremost, Mr. Steve Cochran, who not only oversaw every federal and private dollar in our budget, but was a steady father figure and a little bit of a therapist to all of us. We relied on Stonebridge Group for our owner's representation, Tim Edmondson, and the chief, Reed Woods. Is Reed here? Where is Reed? Make him stand up. Stand up, Reed. I've worked with Reed for more than 15 years, and I never heard him raise his voice. He's such a gentleman until this project. Mike Pallison is our expert legal counsel from the nation's only other chip-in project in Omaha. And Mike, thank you for all your help and support. If you have any questions about chip-in, ask Mike. And of course, late to the game, but you certainly earned your spot, Jeff Hall, with our team. From OSU, we had our anchor, Johnny Stevens, here, and the amazing Eric Pollock. And I didn't see Amy. Amy Lickety-Split Newton. There you are, the fastest attorney in the West. And And I want to say there is not a single problem that we face that Eric Pollock did not roll up his sleeves and work to help us solve. Thank you, Eric, for your leadership on this project.
So that core team don't run off after this. We want to get a picture or two inside. But it's time to note that we could not have completed this project without our partners at the VA. We really lucked out with some amazing and helpful VA counterparts. Our three most trusted national VA Sherpas are here today.
Did Brandy make it?
I don't know.
I don't know if Brandy did make. Brandy Lynn Stockstill was the Director of Property and Programs, and she was with us since day one. But I'm really going to ask to come up to the stage Fran Gomes and Billy Marvel. Fran is Director of the Central Region Office of Construction and Facilities Management. Fran put off retirement twice, and we tell ourselves it's because she was having so much fun with us. And Billy Marvel, which is the best name ever, is our VA resident engineer and probably the most knowledgeable person in the VA about these chip-in projects if you have questions about how these things really work. So, you guys, oh look, you're right behind me. Okay, thank you so much. We're going to gift to you. Look, you guys want to know what's in these boxes? I do. They're keys. We're turning over the keys. Isn't that cute? We simply could not have navigated the VA without you guys. Honestly, we really had no idea when we started that there were 300,000 VA employees. I think a third of them had to sign every contract that we put in front of them.
So now we'd like to invite the VA's very own Dr. Kimberly Denning to she's the medical director, medical center director of Eastern Oklahoma with the VA healthcare system. Dr. Denning, will you come to the podium and say a few words?
And that program says Sunaina, but she couldn't make it, so we're not off on the program. We got it. We're back on track.
Absolutely. Wow, I cannot believe this day is here. I arrived in Oklahoma in April of 2022, and I was acting, and they brought me over to the Health and Human Services building, and I went, wow, that's going to be our new hospital? And as I stepped in the lobby today, I went, oh my God, this is beautiful. It's exactly what our veterans deserve. So I am very honored to be part of this historic ceremony. After years of planning and organization, we are here to receive the James Mountain Inhofe VA Medical Center, expanding critical care to even more veterans in the region. A lot of people mention this is the first of its kind. They did it in Omaha. This is the first hospital, though. And it was done through the chip-in. So we would like to give a round of applause to Senator Langford. Senator Mullen. Congressman Hearn. The late James Mountain Inhofe. And Governor Stitt. So they kind of wanted me to talk about outside the box, and I think a lot of you already touched on that. I think somebody said Courtney uses the term breading of all the funds. I like that terminology. And I want to go back on a key point of Courtney in her keywords and points of talking about the government and how well we work together. I love it. So a lot of you have heard me say a long time ago, well, if you've heard me talk about the VA, this is not your grandfather's VA, right? This is not your grandfather's 1942 Buick. Have you seen the new Buicks? They look like spaceships, right? So what we want to say is that to put VA future healthcare into perspective, today's VA is innovative and modern, and as healthcare advances, we are keeping pace with those changes. I would like to thank the following people: Can anyone from the VA that's worked personally with our team stand up, please, so we can give you a round of applause? That's you too. Thank you. The Zero Family Foundation, especially Courtney Knobloch, who kept us on track throughout the entire process, and that was bolded and highlighted. Oklahoma State University President Dr. Jim Hess and Dr. Johnny Stevens and the entire OSU Medical Center staff. My boss, Sunana Kumar Gibil, who at the last minute could not join us today, her entire staff and VA Central Office staff for their guidance and direction. The state of Oklahoma, the city of Tulsa, Tulsa County, the Tulsa Regional Chamber, and at last but certainly not least, the Crossland construction team for your vision and long hours you put into creating this beautiful campus. The James Mountain Inhofe VA Medical Center is the future of the Eastern Oklahoma VA healthcare system as we look forward to serve the shifting veteran population, bringing healthcare to where they are. To the veterans in the audience today, thank you for your service. And currently we serve 65,000 veterans living in Eastern Oklahoma who continue to trust us with their health care. We are proud of our most recent for Medicare and Medicaid 5-star rating, and we will continue to do all that we have to take care of our nation's heroes. Thank you.
Now I'm starting to wonder if Courtney's going to have enough gifts up here. We'll
I got
see.
one. I've got more.
We want to thank Dr. Denning, Dr. Fouché, Rolanda Webb, Timothy Campbell, and Christy Stanfield, as well as the many Eastern Oklahoma VA core team members that are here with us today.
And I want to give a special shout out to Derek Ogle. I know you're over there, Chief Engineer and Chief of Facilities for Eastern Oklahoma. Derek, you and your entire team have been incredibly supportive of this outside of the box, fast moving project, and we're excited to have you taking over.
So our city and our business community is really realizing what enormous impact this hospital is going to have on the medical, this hospital plus the medical center expansion that's going to happen with the psychiatric hospitals well across the street. The VA hospital alone will have more than 800 employees. 400 of those are going to be new employees, new hires that are going to be here. So one person that first got in office, I think my first call to him was, hey Governor, we got a deal for you. We talked Governor Fallon into giving us a facility across from Tulsa. He said, what? I said, yeah. We trust us on this one. And mentioned veterans, and Governor Stitt said, absolutely, Johnny. Let's move this project forward. He's been a champion from the very beginning, and when it was a time he was drinking from a fire hose. So welcome, Governor Kevin Stitt, and thank you for your support all the way through this.
Thanks, Johnny. Man, good morning, everybody. It's great to be in T-Town. Came up the Turnpike today. I love coming back to my hometown of Tulsa. It's an honor to mark with you this incredible milestone as we've introduced everybody. But really, it's a huge milestone for Tulsa, for our veterans, for really the entire state of Oklahoma. And I want to also give my thanks to Oklahoma State University, the VA, our federal partners, state partners, local partners, and of course, the Inhofe family. It's great to see you guys here. Had such tremendous admiration and respect for your dad. First and foremost, the new James Mountain Inhofe VA Medical Center is a powerful testament to how much Oklahomans value our veterans. This reminds me, Abraham Lincoln at the very end of the Civil War, in his second inaugural address, he said, with malice towards none, with charity for all, we strive to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. And I'm proud, I believe that honoring their service, not just with words, but with actions. And today's celebration proves that that's Oklahoma's heart as well. I'm proud that the state of Oklahoma played a role in launching this project, because this facility for decades to come is going to be binding up Oklahoma's wounds and caring for veterans. It's going to be caring for orphans and the widow. But what's happening here is also bigger than just a hospital. We're standing in the heart of a new $515 million academic medical district that's really transforming our great city of Tulsa. We're talking 5,000 jobs during the construction phase, 2,000 permanent jobs, with a average salary of $112,000. That's great for the Tulsa community. It's a huge economic impact. This is a moment of gratitude and momentum. Gratitude for our veterans and for Senator Inhofe's legacy of service to our state. And it's momentum for Tulsa and Oklahoma's future in healthcare, innovation, and economic development. I know Senator Inhofe would have been very, very proud. He'd be honored to know that his name is going to be associated with this facility forever, because it stands for service, sacrifice, and exemplifies the Oklahoma standard. God bless you guys. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you, Governor Stitt. Greatly appreciate you. And like I mentioned earlier, this spanned two governors. Governor Fallin signed on to this with Chris Bench. Chris Bench was going to be here today, but Jim, he's working in Almogi. He texted me this morning. He said he's working in Almogi, but Chris Bench was an early adopter of this under Governor Fallin, and then Michael Junk. And I know I saw Michael. He's right over there. I keep my eye on Michael all the time. But both of those two guys were led in that transition and were our unofficial advisory board members in those early days.
And you've heard us reference that this is a fast-moving and efficient collaborative project, and it has been all that. Because of CHIP-IN, we were able to accelerate the funding for this project and accelerate the construction for this project.
But we don't want to suggest that we took the federal government's money, built their building faster at a greater savings than they could have.
We don't want to suggest it, but we're going to say it.
And we're able to do it because of the planning, the design, the construction we did. On design, we sought out a national firm with VA experience and creativity, and a Tulsa partner with industry experience and impressive creativity.
Our team from Leo A. Daily Architecture is led by Jeff Monzu and Mark Roberts. We want to thank you. I know you're here someplace. These guys don't like to stand in the tent, but thank you for all you did. And you guys were right about the glass curtain wall. It looks gorgeous. And our hometown GH2 architecture with Carol Henderson, Jim Henderson, and our Patience of Job lead, Michael Hall, whose own father was a veteran who didn't make it to see this hospital completed. But I know he would be so proud of you, Michael. Thank you to Tulsa Team GH2. And our engineering and construction side, thanks and praise to George Rodich of Wallace Design Group, and of course to our Crossland team. They don't like to get in here and get under the tent and take credit, but they always take my phone calls. Superintendent Jeff Machado, Senior Project Manager Keaton Bushyhead, Todd Morrow, Holly Tanner's here, Parker Stroman, Jason Olson, I think Jason's been here all night, Dustin Slattery, Hale Bollinger, Michael Merrill, and on safety, Dalton Robertson. I think John Priest is here today, the president of Crossland, and we're just so appreciative for the work that you've put in. We don't have to thank somebody we're paying, but it's not what you do, it's the way that you do it, and you guys really showed up for us.
And now we want to introduce the leader that has been our CHIP-IN North Star, someone that's pushed our team from the time of our application to look for efficiencies at every level of this project.
Actually, my first meeting to discuss the project was with Derek Osborne in Senator Langford's office, and he told us Senator Langford would want us to list the ways that this project would save time and money. I was to get ready for that.
Before Senator Langford could meet with us or tour the construction site, Courtney and Eric and I would make a list of that cost savings, joint appointments, leverage partnerships, try to maximize the facility space, and it really did push us to get the most out of this project for both the VA and OSU's medical school.
Please help us welcome to the podium United States Senator James Langford.
Well, you're looking at your program and you're saying, that's my favorite speaker. It's the last one. I'm also a redhead standing in the sun, so you know this will be short. Let me say thank you to all the team that's here. This has been a project for years. We're pushing a decade to be able to get to this point. Let me peel back a little bit to be able to tell you, if you don't know, why we've used the word chip in so many times. Because this project really is different than any other federal project. It's the frustration that I have is that every time we do a federal project, it takes 10 times longer and costs 10 times as much as it should, and all the taxpayers look at it and say, why? Well, the chip-in law was actually passed, and it was kind of sneaky and fun. It was passed just to help one particular facility in Nebraska because they want to have some partnerships there. And we discovered that and said that's open to more than just Nebraska if another community would be willing to take the same risk that they did, and we actually took it the next step and said, what if we did a hospital? What if we expanded this much farther? What if we had nonprofits, our state government, the city, the county, that all would engage together to be able to do something significant for not just Tulsa, but for veterans and for our nation? What if we could do that? What if we could set a new way of actually doing veterans health care that would partner not only the VA system, but with the OSU medical system together, and so that we didn't have to replicate everything, that if OSU had a great testing equipment or had great physicians on that, we could also share that with our veterans. So we didn't have a situation where our veterans were coming to a hospital and saying, actually, the best equipment is across the street, they just can't get access to it. This changes that model. I want you to understand, as Oklahomans, what we have set in front of a nation is a new way of doing things for the nation and for veterans. And it's our desire to be able to see this then spread across the rest of the nation. That communities will be coming to Tulsa and saying, teach me how you did this, because we want our veterans in our area to have the quality of care that your veterans do. Oklahomans, we did something different together, and we just go, sure we did, but the rest of the country is leaning in and saying, show me how we can do that. So as a fellow Oklahoman, thank you for giving so much time to be able to figure out how to be able to unlock something that no one else is doing so that everyone else could do it in the future. This will mean a great deal to not just veterans here in Green Country, but literally veterans across the entire country. So bless you in the work that you have done to be able to unlock this, and for 10 cajillion meetings that you had to have to be able to go through the process and all the signatures and all the checkoffs and all the we've never done that before, let's figure it out meetings. When we walked through this process, Senator Inhofe and I kicking this off, and then all of us in the federal delegation engaging this both in House and Senate to be able to dream and to consider, could we get this done and how could we actually move it? I never dreamed at that point that the next bill that I would work on to be able to pass this would be to name this facility after my friend Senator Inhofe. That really didn't even cross my mind initially. But it made so much sense at Senator Inhofe's passing to say, if we want to get a chance to be able to honor the person who had 3 priorities: Jesus, his family, and our United States military and veterans. No one would question that. By the way, right behind it, number 4 was our roads and highways, but that's a whole different issue too. But there's no doubt that was our top 3 all the time. And no one would ever hesitate, if you know Senator Inhofe, to say it was Jesus, his family, and it was veterans. To be able to have his family here, to be able to open with a prayer, and to be able to stand in front of this medical facility, I can honestly say my friend would be proud of this day. because this is a great way to be able to not just honor his legacy, but to encourage a new generation of leaders that are coming up to say those are not bad priorities for any future leader. To say, how can we actually do this and do it better? So thank you for being engaged. Thank you for your leadership and the time that you have done, and for all the leadership of OSU. This started with Casey Schrum, it's continuing on with Dr. Hess. Thank you for all the leadership that has been done from OSU in the partnership here, because this is an incredible risk for OSU as well, to be able to figure out how to be able to make this partnership and all the dollars work. And yes, I do remember walking through this building when there were no walls on it, and when everybody's saying don't walk any farther than that because it's a pretty big step after you get past that spot. And for all of us around Tulsa, remember what this building used to look like, and now to be able to see it now is very significant. One last statement, and it's for all the veterans in eastern Oklahoma and southeast Oklahoma. We're not giving up on Muskogee. Muskogee's taking the next step, and we're proud of the work that's happening both in Oklahoma City and in Muskogee, and for the continued work that's there to be able to take care of our veterans. There's been a tremendous amount of investment in those two facilities as well, though we've had to do a different level of bureaucracy because we haven't been in the chip-in structure. We're not forgetting about those veterans in all those areas as well, and we want them to be able to know that there's great work and advancement that's happening as we continue to be able to push behind the scenes to say, let's get things done, and let's continue to be able to put that investment in that spot as well. So God bless you for the leadership and what you continue to do, and thanks for shouting out Derek Osborne. I heard that little shout out on that as well. He's been working on this for a very long time behind the scenes as well on my staff. So thanks, it's an honor. And do I get a key? Okay. I didn't know if it was like you had like a certain level of speech before you got a key. Bless you.
Thank you, Senator Langford, and thank you for your support of this project from the beginning. There are two groups we want to thank in final, and that is, if I was really hosting this event and OSU's team hosts it, we'd be in an open parking lot and it would be potluck. So I want to thank Monica Collington and her team at OSU Events for putting all of this on. They were up here for months. And then I want to thank Bill Major and the entire staff of the Ann and Henry Zero Foundation, who have endured me for 8 years on this project. Thank you all.
You guys have made it. You made it set as long as you're going to have to. We're gonna turn over some ceremonial keys beforehand, though. I think there's 3 on this side and 3 on this side, and this is the transfer over to the VA. It's theirs. Yep. Courtney thinks she's done. So one last photo op, but just so you know, so we don't end this in a really weird way, is how Jay says I usually end these things, but we're going to hand over these ceremonial keys, and then we're going to have the color guard come back forward and retire the colors, and then we can go over to the lobby.
And then you're going to have a chance to see the lobby's beautiful commissioned painting and visit with the artist himself, David Holland, and you'll have a chance to tour the new emergency department if you'd like, and visit with some of the VA representatives who can talk to you about the upcoming operations of the new hospital. Now, if you are on the key transfer list, then please come up.
I got to end this. Go Pokes before this is all.
Okay, I'm gonna go inside for a little bit. Inside, okay. Are they're doing like a memory something inside? Yeah. What time is it now?
everybody stand, please, and we'll retire the colors.
Get a quick couple shots.